Alrighty. So today we're doing something a little different with the MixDown stream. I'm going to be going in and giving feedback on the mixdowns that y'all have submitted. I'm going to kind of stay away from doing like creative stuff and just stick to the mixdowns, stick to the masters, give you some tips, tricks, go in, try and EQ some things, show you what I'm talking about. Afterwards, probably going to go in and I'll talk about some kick drum stuff. Thought we might add that on there. The last stream with Jaybird, that was one of his critiques for a lot of things, so we thought it'd be a good idea to kind of go in and show y'all what a good kick drum sample looks like, how to find them, what to look for. There's a lot of really bad ones out there. How to process them, bake them into your projects, that sort of thing. I'm gonna have span open, probably side scope. We'll just get these tunes. We're gonna start with Notic. Notic, yeah, you're in here. Cool. Let's get to it. We got Reinstate by Notic up first. Let me know how the volume is, if it's like too quiet or too loud. Notic.
Let's go back to the boom boom pat. Let's go
God damn. Dude, that's crazy. It's heavy as hell. Honestly, not a ton of notes. The mix is pretty solid. The master's pretty solid. It's really stylized, the mix and master. I mean, it's like dark and whatnot. It's very balanced. Most of the time, like in the drops, like it's got a nice, pretty flat frequency spectrum, I think you probably could get more air out of the mix. Yeah, definitely. I'm boosting it like 3 dB.
Let's go back.
Kind of, it just brings it out a lot more. You already have everything there pretty much, but I think just giving it a bit of a boost. You can try it on the master. It might get funky. You might also just want to go in and like pick specific synths and do that on. And your hi-hats could probably come up. Only in some spots, because I think in the second drop. Somewhere there's like a couple hats that are right next to each other, and those are pretty good. So those might get too loud if you try and do this in the master. They're in there somewhere. You probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's pretty good. Another thing that stuck out to me is you have a lot of information on the sides in the sub. You can honestly just cut it out. If I can fit both in. The pink underneath on span is the sides, by the way. And so you've got quite a bit down in here. This is just chopping it out. We'll make it better. Honestly, it doesn't make too much of a difference when it's summed to mono in like specific ways, because like some systems will sum tracks to mono differently than other ways. It could cause issues on some systems, but others it might not. It just really depends. But so it's just safe to just cut it out. And then the last thing I noticed, your sub fundamental is hitting at a good spot right here, and then it dips off pretty fast. So you might be able to get a little bit of warmth out of these next few harmonics. That with like the highs coming through more. You'll get like a really warm sound, but still be bright. Yeah, I hope that helps. It's a really sick song. Honestly, you're like, this is like the last 5%, and some of this stuff is definitely going to be stylistically. On the master of the sub, for those low notes, or those harmonics, I'm talking about these ones that are like right there. So whatever's making these, if it is your sub that's doing that, then bring it up on the sub. Or if it's like your mid bass, like if you just have a sine wave sub, then do it on the mid bass. But whatever's those harmonics right there, because you can see the big. You want it to be like a nice slope down and not quite as drastic, if that makes sense. Yeah, of course. Super sick. All right, next tune up. Blow Shit Up V3 by Damon. Where's my int? Look at that.
The ship itself is kept in 5 seconds.
The other one? Hold, please. All right, run in the back. Whip V2 by Damon. The boy Damon. Let's go. right into the old one. Moving that. All right. Damon. Sick. Super sick. It's interesting hearing not house from you. So, here for that. What BD Sith said. Psychedelic trip vibe. Love it. Honestly, the big thing with this that I'm noticing is... Let me find the spot. Not much sub going on outside of the kick. You can even see in the waveform here. Your kick's nice and loud, right about where it should be, like at a mastered state, and then not much of a sub, and so like the bass isn't really coming through. Sub's way down there, so I would honestly say just like it's gonna sound horrible on here because the kick's gonna get boosted. Yeah, so I would just say on your bass, like crank the holy hell out of it, and then get a sub layer, dedicated sub layer for this type of music will do you wonders, and then saturate your sub with your bass and clip them together, compress them together. Don't like blow out the sub, but like really squish them together. Because there's just not really much sub going on. That's kind of the main thing. Same with like the mid layer. Whoa. You can see like in the like 300 to 800 range. Big dip down. Just filling those in, saturation, EQ, put them up. Let me see what else. The build-ups here. Let me get a meter out. About 2 to 3 LUFS louder than your drop. So you could just take a gain or utility and just do something like that. So that already kind of feels better. Hits harder. Usually what I'll do in a track when I get to like this point, I'll just skip around the song, like make sure parts sound together. That way you can kind of like pinpoint, okay, my build's way too loud or my drop's way too quiet. I think that's pretty much all that stuck out. There was actually... Right in here, you can see these big peaks. It's that like tinny. That tinny guy. Bring that down. If you want like that tone still, you can distort it with like these big resonant things and then bring it down after the distortion. It'll come through a lot more, but you'll still have like that feel and it won't be so quiet. Won't be massive spikes. Because it's way up there. Yeah, that's really all I had. Everything else is pretty good. Your cloud. It's really just filling out these low mids, getting that warmth there. And then getting it balanced with like the build and the drop. Yeah, is Damon here? Jordan? Is Damon watching somewhere? Are you in contact with Damon? Hello, Damon. Do you have any questions? next up. This one's going down here. Fancy K with Memories. All right, let's get it. Fancy K with the vibes. Killing it, dude. This is nice. It's more of like a mellowy, chiller version of what you do. It's cool. Alright, so from the start, where is it? Right in here, you can see these build up this like low MIDI area. of getting rid of that will just kind of open up both the lower and upper areas. It's like a really boxy area. That was one of the main things in the intro. It's not as bad in here. That's because those lower frequencies start to come in and like everything else. So you can see how on that bass, like kind of chilling out that area sounds in here. But I would definitely do it in the intro. And then just overall, I would just bring this up. So you can still kind of create that tension in the build. You can kind of fade out the volume, but just bringing this up, just so it's just as loud as everything else, kind of as it goes. And then you can create that dip in those dynamics in the builds. In the drops, it's pretty squished, the master. If you look in on it, like your kick is breathing for air. Like it's, that boy is squished. You can see like how hard it's being clipped right there. So if you do have a clipper or a limiter on the master, I would just kind of pull it off some, because I mean that's flat. You can hear in the kick how it has all these overtones in it because it's being squished a little too much. It's not really punchy, it's turning it into being boxy. I don't think that kick is probably not like that, just as you have it. It's probably a limiter on the master that's doing that. And you can hear it with the clap too. It's really distorting. What you can do is you can take the kick and you can put a shelf and lower down the top of the kick when the clap comes in, if it's distorting like at way too low of a volume, or like cut out the top. All right, you hear me? My interface likes to just like short out my computer, so. Getting this going again. Maybe. All right. We good. Anyway, like I was saying, cut out the top part of your kick when the clap comes in if it's distorting when it's not being pushed that hard. That'll create some space for the clap, just like layering anything else. Because that clap is getting pretty squished. I also don't know that that kick needs quite as much transient as it has. Yeah, I think it would sound a little more pleasant if it didn't have quite as much of a transient. It's not like a hi-fi track, so it doesn't need to cut through. And there's really not a lot of like high-end synths going on. So I think it'll cut through with a little bit less and be less aggressive. Yeah, overall pretty good tune. Oh, there was this in the breakdown. The sides on that bass down there, They're creeping up there, and you can even see the correlation meter down here. We're almost not monocompatible, so it's getting pretty close. So I would just take like the sides down a little bit on that. Too much sides down there is just, it just sounds off. Like we're not used to that as like humans, like width and low end, so it feels off to us for some reason. It's just more pleasant to have a little more in the center. Because things just aren't wide like that in normal life. There's some evolution science for you. All right, good stuff. On to the next. What else we got? Got Palisades, Bass House Idea. 1, September 2024. Palisades 8/31/24. V13. Jesus Christ. All right, V13. Is there a reason to not just high pass all side frequencies? I mean, you can. I put a high pass on my master, cutting out the sides. There's also, if you hard pan something and you cut out the sides of it on the low end, it'll make it a little more pleasant to your ears. If you're curious for like why, there's a Dan Worrell YouTube tutorial on like how that works and why. But I usually just have it on my master just at all times, even when I'm producing, like, it's just there, just so I have it from the start. Yeah, Dan Worrell videos, watch them all. They're all great, and he's like, his voice is so soothing. It's good stuff. It's like the David Attenborough of music production. Anyway, Palisades, let's go. sick, dude. Love your bass house. You always can get like this crunch in your stuff that I love. Good stuff. Let's see. There was a spot here. Yeah, there's like some stuff is fighting in low end right here. Is that like another kick or something that might be going on right here? But you can see like the wave is getting wonky, and it is. So I'll just make sure that only kind of one thing's happening. Yeah, you can see things are really fighting right here. Just making sure the side chain's all happy. Yeah, another one right here. And then in the breaks, so you have a vocal come in, and then you have this new pluck in the back. Introducing like two brand new things that are in like the same frequency range at the same time, it kind of makes it hard to figure out what you're supposed to be listening to. So I'd probably like bring the vocal in and then bring that pluck in, filter the pluck in. So that way it's not something brand new, just kind of at the same time as something else brand new with a vocal. Like, because vocal has to like take up everything. And same with the breakdown, I think it was. There's a lot of things going on right here with the vocal, kind of the same way. There's like other vocals happening on the sides, and like it's good that they're not in the middle, but like multiple vocals happening at once, they get kind of lost. So I'd really just have like when I do vocals, I try and live by drums, a bass, maybe something shiny on top, like a pad or something that's like really pushed back, and then nothing else, just the vocal. Like leave everything from like the 3 to like 5K range just open for the vocal to be there. You can like kind of go creative within that, but really leaving that open. Secondly, the vocal, it's like super wide. You can hear this. I'll switch to mono and stereo, and you can hear this. There's gonna be a huge volume dip. It's even comb filtering a bit. So I'm not sure if you have a widener on there. If it's like, it sounds like it's doing some Haas effect type widening. I mean, I would just keep the vocal pretty center. Let the reverb, you can do like multiple reverb chains and like pan those to get some width out of it. But like, yeah, just leaving that vocal right in the middle. Because you can't really sacrifice a vocal. Like, you don't really want to give anything away when you sum to mono. Haas effect is bad on something that you want is important, like a vocal, because it's going to cause comb filtering. It makes things super wide, but yeah, I mean, I don't really, like, honestly don't do a lot with a vocal to make it wide, because I want it to be like right in your face in the front, and then you kind of build a space around it, and you can make like ping pong delays. You can add some width. But literally any type of widening will cause some issue. Like, there's no perfect widening. So like, it's just better to kind of keep it in the middle. Like, effects are fine. Vocal effects. I wouldn't say like don't ever use Haas effect. It's just on vocals, like I wouldn't use the Haas effect. Or like a really important lead or like a bass. But effects and like that type of stuff that doesn't matter, like it doesn't get rid of the validity of the song to have it go away in mono. then go crazy with Haas effect. Make it wide as hell. But if it's like an element that if it wasn't there, the whole song kind of would start to fall apart, then don't use Haas effect. Got some sides on the bass. Like that Reese, you got it right here. Got them sides, so I'll just chop those boys out too. Other than that, the sub is a bit loud. Like up here, it's a bit loud compared to everything else. And you're asking how you can get that your lead to pop out more. The bass lead, I think it is. Yeah, make it more clear. I think you're talking about that right there. If you tone down the sub and then bring up some of these mids. That's what's causing it not to pop out. Is the sub is so loud that it's going to cause the master to squish when you're limiting or clipping a lot faster. So I think it's a sub issue with thing going into your master, because your sub will eat all of your headroom. So if it's too loud, then you're gonna have like no room for mid basses to pop through. I think that's about it. Oh, actually, this part right here, super quiet. I'll crank this up quite a bit. Yeah, that's about it. I would watch the width on things too. Just keep referencing your track in mono as you're going through. And if something's like fighting, not working, you can go in with a mid-side EQ and just like take it. If that makes it too quiet, then you can go in and you can turn the mid up in that same spot. And that can help fix phase issues. Yeah, about it with this one. Pretty good. Love some bass house. Alrighty, next up we got Thick Phobia. Is this mastered? Because if not, it looks pretty quiet. Guess we'll see. Thick Phobia. Dude, this is so cool. This is so much different than what I've heard from you in the past. Like, it's beautiful. Like this part. God damn. This one's gonna be kind of funky, like mixing wise, because it's gonna be very like stylistically, like a lot of the like what you would do to do in a club. I feel like somewhat will go out the window. Let me think, like what? I mean, well, I'm just gonna turn it up just to see what it's gonna be like when it's at a mastered state. Big thing, honestly, I think is the kick. Like, that doesn't really have much of a sub at all. You can see how just like drawbly. I don't know, I would either, if you want to keep like that texture with it, just turn it up and like distort it. It might be one of those. I'm actually gonna like say don't do that here pretty soon. I do this kick thing, but like this one's so stylized that you might just want to do that and just make it like kind of a fart kick, but in a good way. I would add a transient to it too, because there's not much like high end there. Everything's pretty low. Just a little bit of something like that will, a transient in like the 600 to like 3K range, just a little click. I think that would do it a lot. Might even be one of those where you just switch the kick out, to be honest. It's pretty iffy. You could use it as a texture layer on top of a better kick. It's like just chop out the low parts of it and just leave that texture in there. But yeah, that's kind of my main note with this. I'll get pretty creative with like reverbs and delays too, and just like really fill out the space, and like that vocal here, like have it delay across. You already kind of started doing that. I'll just take it to the next level. This boy's loud as hell too. Maybe like try to control some of these like big peaks over here. These are pretty harsh. I think you like that down sample vibe. Might be a bit much. If you could like even distort just up here, and that'll just kind of tame some of that. Other part, this section I would bring up a lot. It's really cool, that vocal, and like I'm just gonna try what it would sound like with like a solid kick. See how much of a difference that kind of makes with just like a chunkier boy in there. Yeah, I would definitely say switch the kick out. But yeah, I mean, I think you still need to master it and all that, so oh, this part. I think your sub's an octave too high. Unless you're going for that vibe. But we're sitting way up here at 75. So there's not really a sub. I think you're good in this one. If you're going for that vibe, sweet. But like if not, then it might be too high. I think that was all I had for this. Yeah, super sick though. I can't wait to do this one when it's finished. I'd love to hear like more reverbed, washed pan stuff in here. Like get those strings, like put a cello on the right and put a violin on the left. But like if you go on orchestral stuff, like really just make it mono and then pan it and have them like come in and out around the sides. Almost every instrument's pretty much down the middle and then widened in some way, so I would make a mono and pan. And it'll make it a lot more interesting too. Bring these up a little bit too, the drums. just a hair, just to stick out a little better. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Good stuff, my dude. Love it. Next up, we got Tony Lowe. With I think it's Tony Lowe. All right. Let's go. Jesus, my bad.
Hago lo que quiera y no lo pienso.
Tony Lowe. Hell yeah, dude. This is super dope. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good, Jordan. With this vocal, bit too much of like this area. Specifically right there, like these guys right here. Yeah, I think just tame those, bring those down a bit. Maybe even some here. I think it just helps balance it out a little bit better. Let's see, in the... This sounds pretty good. The second harmonic is coming out. Depends how picky you want to be. Sometimes I like to go in and like... kind of balances out when like that note switches. We do have already enough submissions. I capped it at 15 and we have 16 indigo. So I'm doing like a kick thing after, so unfortunately I can't do too many. But next time. In the drop here. Whole lot of sub fundamental, but not a lot of overtones. I would honestly make a different sub bass for this. Something that's like a little more gritty and distorted. It sounds good. It sounds full and warm, and then when it gets to drop, it loses that warmth. There's like that second harmonic's not even there. And like these are pretty low. Lobster Inferno, I don't even know who you were, Tony. Hello, Lobster Inferno. Well, if there's no sub bass, then sub bass. We'll do you good. Yeah, I think you can get more air out of this mix too. Yeah, I just want to hear like one of those distorted sub basses with like a little bit of noise in there that's like gritty. Probably something like saw wave rooted. Yeah, it really needs some warmth. It's kind of feeling thin like in these sections. Let's see. Yeah, overall it's pretty balanced. It's pretty good. Just that vocal and then the bass just needs some work. Pretty decent. Yeah, I love your drums. You always have really good drum writing. Sick tune. Alrighty, we got the dude, Social Kid, with Trinity. Let's get to it. This might be the Social Kid.
Dodge this.
Only human.
Social Kid with that mid-tempo, ungodly hard shit. Man, your mixes are always like... I've listened to enough of your music. It's right in par with what you always do, which I love. Very squished, but like right. Really, my only note, I think you might be able to get a little more air out of there. Just a skosh. When those other hats come in, definitely not, because they're pretty loud. Might even tame that big one right there. Yeah, personally, I think it sounds a bit more like it kind of opens it up if you add some of those high ends. And that'll balance it with the low end too. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's nitpicky as hell, so it's pretty good. This mix is like solid, and it's right in what you normally do, which is like pretty bricked, but like it works. Let me check one other thing here. This right here could be a choice to have it swoop up like that. Sidechain could also be a hair too long, like the curve, but kind of looks like it's that way for most of it. So you might be able to get a little bit more sub out of it. It looks like it's just a hair too long. Super nitpicky though. I would honestly say like you could be just done with this, but if you wanted to add like this, wouldn't be too bad either. Cool. Good stuff, dude. Thank you for sending it in. All right, next up, got acid reflux. Sick. Super cool. Different than our other stuff, which is nice. Love acid. Love techno. Big thing, honestly, the bass line needs to come up. And also add a sub underneath. Looks like it's just top bass. Yeah, because there's no sub in this area. It's just flat. So definitely add a rumble or something if you want to do it that way. Add a plucky, like, rolling bass. Yeah, the kick can't just take up everything. It can, but you have to have a really long kick. This kick is just not doing it. So definitely needs a mid bass to sub. Last, the kick here has some stereo in it, and there's no good. What you can do with kicks, you don't really want to like do the width knob to 0 or even like the mid side thing to 0. Take the left or the right. That way you're not losing any of it. That's like the most safe way to get something into mono. There will be one side that sounds better. Probably the left. It's hard to say though without just having that, but yeah, definitely mono that kick. And pick one of the sides, don't necessarily like sum it to mono. Yeah, any type of like summing to mono, like the mid, mid side will take what's the same as each other and get rid of what's different. And width will sum, I think. Something like that. But yeah, just picking the left or the right, we'll just take the left, put it in the middle, take the right, put it in the middle. And that's how you'll get the best of the outcome with really important things like kicks, because your sub, you can't. It's got to be clean. Yeah, overall, I think just like filling out this area. And you have like that nice acid going on. It just needs it needs a bass. Yeah, bass mono is a mid-side EQ. Like what I've been doing here. This is all bass mono is doing. You just pick I don't know what the cutoff frequency is. That's why I don't really use it too much. I just do this because you can't tell. And that where this is at will change things. That'll do something. Make it ring. But yeah, that's why I do this more than bass mono. I do bass mono and things I don't really care about, but because you can't control the Q on this, and that will definitely change things. But yeah, kick needs to be centered. What else was there I noticed? The acid has a little bit of phase issues when it goes to mono. You hear those little like the additional, the high ones there. They kind of go away in mono. You can hear those. They're really, really wide. What you can also do is take one of these utilities, and as it gets closer to the drop, just turn the width down. I'm not saying do this to like fix the phasey issues, but just in general, because your mix is pretty wide up until the drop, and this will make the drop feel like it's hitting harder. Like that makes quite a bit of difference. So like you can either do it on the master. I'll usually do it on the master because I'm lazy, or you can go in and like do the elements and make them more mono as it gets towards the drop. Versus this. Makes the drop come in a lot harder. yeah, that's pretty much it with this one. It's pretty sweet. I think it just needs those low mids filled out. I think that vocal chop can come up a little bit. It's pretty cool. Reverb on it, delays, make it even cooler, distort it, pan it, do all the things. The high end up here. You have like a shaker or something that's going on that's way higher than the hat, and it's a bit odd. I would probably try and find like a shaker that is a little bit of a lower register than your hi-hat. So it kind of, the hi-hat's the most top thing. It might feel a little bit better. Because my ear's wanting to go to that really high shaker thing, and I'm kind of ignoring the hat. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty good. The kick is also pretty good. I wouldn't squish it too much. Maybe I'll sidechain a little more. It's got a lot of high end on it. Like sidechain some of your cymbals. Yeah, there's a lot of high end on there. Give it more of a pump too if you sidechain it. That's pretty much it though. Thanks for submitting. Pretty good. Killed my stream there for a second, so tests. All right, next we got Winter Tribal Knowledge. I think this is a mid-tempo one, so it's exciting. All right, let's go. Yeah, it's so insane. Weird as fuck in the best possible way, I feel like is the best way to describe it. That was super cool. I don't think I've heard anything like this before. That part though, just goddamn. Over and over again. It's so satisfying. I think your kick come up a little bit. Sorry, my dog's going crazy if y'all can hear that, but bit quiet. Probably bring the kick up just a hair, at least the transient. The sub. Not much going on with like the overtones. I think you can get some more out of that. Probably use a bass with. Kind of just distort the bass honestly a bit more and get some of those out. It's very sine wavy. I think it's so loud because that's not there. You'll probably be able to make it quieter, like the actual fundamental, and then bring those up, and it'll feel a lot louder and it'll feel a lot fuller. So I think I might be able to do that with an EQ. It's just gonna sound wonky with an EQ, but I would say just saturate your sub, or even just like heavily distort it, and if that really makes it wonky, then chop out the lows after you distort it and make a clean sub underneath that. But that's really my only thing with this, is just that dip right there. Maybe watch some of these peaks, they might get a little bit high. If you have Soothe, slap it on there and just to bring them down just when they're kind of really peaking. Especially these ones right here. Yeah, like those 250 to like 350 hertz ones, when they start peaking, it kind of masks the ones above it. And there's not much tone there, so that's where the weight is, but there's almost too much. Yeah, I would definitely tone that one down. Besides that, honestly, like, it's so artsy and like so different that I don't really want to say much about it, because it's just cool. Sub good. Real loud right there. I think honestly, yeah, just the sub. That's really my only thing with it. Super sick. Love it. Big ups on that one. Thanks for submitting. I haven't heard anything from you, so it's really cool. First thing to hear from you. All right. Cybernetic. Up next, iHaz bass. Let's go. cybernetic. Super cool. Really pretty techno. Love those vocal chops. This is really nice. That like got coined stutter house, which I kind of hate because it's trancey things, but like I love those stuttery vocals. Let's see, big thing with this I think is just that bass line. It's a lot of low mid. You could probably get more of that high mids out of it, make it a little more percussive, open up that filter a bit more, have it I think it's being like played with an LFO or an envelope, and just have that filter pluck through a bit more, and you can get some of those high mids, and then also use a saturator. Once that happens, you could probably turn it down because your bass is making your plucks distort in the second drop. Hear that crunchiness on the top. It's coming because it's being really squished by the master, and that sub is what's really pushing it up into there. So if your bass is louder in this area, it doesn't need to be as loud down here, and that'll give you more headroom. You're also getting a little bit of phase offset on here. You can see how it kind of goes up like that. You could try it in either, it might just really mess it up, doing something like that on your bass, and that might bring it down. Also, your top bass and your sub, if you have one, are interacting in some way, and that can do that. You can also try changing the phase, like the little phase knob on Serum, if that's what you're using, or like any other synth, and rotate a little bit to line up with a lower layer or with your kick. But that's eating up headroom, because see how it's almost touching here, but then you have all of this down here. Like same with here, it just gets like kind of going off a little bit. That's why it's not super loud, but it's distorting quickly. It's 'cause like one end of it is getting squished and the other isn't. See, like right up in here. Could also be the kick switch. I don't know, just play with some things. It's definitely distorting too much when that lead comes in, and not having any hi-hats in there, it can't be masked by anything. So you're gonna hear every bit of distortion that happens. You have to really bring that down and like balance it. I do like a reverse into these vocals. They kind of came out of nowhere, and pretty hot too compared to what was right there. You can even turn these up a little bit. That kind of helps. I think that was about it. Might want to add like a little bit of a top layer to the kick. I'm already going for like that deeper, darker vibe, but it just might help cut through a little bit, especially when this lead comes in. Whoops. Yeah, I definitely can't pull it out with this. It's probably a top kick. Pretty much it though. Super sick. Good stuff, dude. Thanks for sending it in. All right, we got two more. Criminal Christmas by Criminal Agent.
It's officially Christmas!
Last Christmas, gave you my heart, but the very next day, I gave it away, 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 away. This year, 75 years, I give it to
れそりよ風のように月見原をたどるたどる走れそりよ風のように月見原をたどるたどる
I have no words. Jesus Christ. This is like hardstyle brain rot. Here for it. I mean, take some side right there. I don't know if it's a thing with the genre, but I feel like the genre never has punch in their kicks. They're very just like very distorted. I always want to hear like them punch. You know? Wait, did I drop out for a bit? Okay, if they're meant to be punchless, then that's intentional. Hell yeah. Keep it as it is. How loud is this even? This thing's gotta be like all of it.
Yes, Daddy.
Yeah, I mean, it's sick. I'm not gonna lie. Love it. I would listen to this. I would play it. I think it's perfect. Don't change anything. This got a bit hot. Like painfully hot. I'd probably show like the 3K area on that. Yeah, hell yeah. Everything's perfect. Change nothing. Ship it. Send it to Tiesto. The last one. We got Blow Shit Up by Damon. Let's go. We did his other one. He sent 2. He gets ownership privileges, so he gets 2. And he just had a baby, so like, that seems fair. Let's go.
The ship will self-destruct in 5 seconds. The ship will self-destruct in 5 seconds. The shit will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Hell yeah. Again, I love hearing not house from you. It's really interesting. Super dope. Heavy as fuck. Honestly, the notes I have for this one are kind of the same as last one. The builds are kind of louder than the drops. So I'll just tame those, filter them down, automate them down. And then with the basses, they're all equally in the same space of being right up front. And I kind of want to hear some tonal difference. That's kind of pushing some of these fill ones in the back to let this main one. Like they're all like right up against your face. The bass, like the sub bass, I would try and get some of those lower harmonics, higher harmonics. These guys out a little more, make it a little warmer. I hear their sub, but I don't I guess I feel their sub, but I don't hear that they're a sub. If that makes sense. Like I'm not hearing the top parts of the bass. Especially in sections like this. I hear that sine wave, but it doesn't feel like bass. It feels like a big sine wave at the bottom. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Maybe cut out a little bit more of the high end in your basses to let the hats through. Just when the hats come in. There's a lot going on up here in the basses, so it's kind of masking the hats. Then I'd automate the width down on these builds too. Makes it come in so much harder. So yeah, either through automation or just getting the width down in these as it builds along. Overall the balance is pretty good. Maybe bring that clap rim back. Nah, it's good. Never mind. Maybe like a little bit of like a low pass hat or something right on the kick, just to kind of give it a little bit of cut through it a little bit, just a little bit of a top kick in that way. Yeah, besides that, super sick.
5 seconds.
Yeah, good stuff, dude. Love it. think that's it for the songs. Comes back from the dead. All right. For those that have stuck around, I'm going to run through kick drum stuff. What to look for kick drum samples. How to fix stuff. That sort of thing. All right. So in the last stream that we were on, my brain is farting right now, with Jaybird, he mentioned a lot about low end in these kicks and how a lot of them didn't have low end. There's a lot of really bad kicks out there. I brought in a few. Sorry, excellent sound in unison, but these kicks are pretty brutal. But it's things like these, which you can't hear. So this is an example of a kick that has a wonky sub. You can even see it on here. That guy. Let me bring up Vision. See, that's like dipping out right there. You want your kick to hit the sub, but it's just not sustained in any way, and it's squared. That sort of thing. I hear that a lot in tracks. Other ones are the sub goes down and it drags and sustains a note like that. You can barely even hear it. That'll just mess up your whole mix. And if you're trying to like trim it out, now we have nothing. Like something like this, it would just take so much processing to try and fix. So, good kicks. What are those like? Bass music. This blank kick. Chonky as all hell. Great sub. It cuts through and it's big and it's massive without being square. So if you can see like these on this kick right here, it squares off. That's what I hear a lot of people is they're trying to get their kick to cut through. So they turn it up and they square it. And what that's doing is it's adding, let me pull up a fab filter here. If you square kick, it's adding right there, these guys. Because it's going to be distorting the sub, and so those overtones are going to live right here. And what that's doing is it's then going to be masking where the punch of the kick is, which is the 100 hertz. Yeah, excellent. They have good samples sometimes. Sometimes they're house ones. The pack's good, but their house kicks. But the punch of the kick exists in the hundreds to like 150 area, and if now all of a sudden these are high from squaring a kick off, these don't cut through, and they're masking it. So now you no longer have a punchy kick, you just have a loud square. That's what, if someone says you have a boxy kick, that's what that is. Like it sounds cool in texture, but as soon as you get in a track with a distorted bass or anything like that, it just goes away. It just sounds like part of the distorted bass. Blank on the other hand puts like top end on his kicks. And they sound huge. There's a little bit of width at the top, nothing down here. And that's how if you want like a big kick to cut through in bass music, you can't just turn it up. Like it doesn't really do what I think the hope is. It's about layering high textures and keeping this low end like pure sine wave. Yeah, Blank's unreal. I think how he makes his kicks too is he layers like 2 or 3. He'll take a transient from one kick, he'll take the punch, which is this area, from another kick, and then he'll take the sub from another, and that's what he'll layer them by. So yeah, and that works for mid-tempo too, because we have a lot of mid-tempo people in here, but like you hear how huge that is, and it's not square. That punch is a lot harder than this. House-wise, we like that punchy area, that 100 hertz, that guy. So as soon as we like start squaring, it goes away. Because we're masking that punch. So if this guy, we want it to be punchier, quieter, but turn that up. And then let me pull up the size scope. There we go. You can see that area right here is turned up now. That's where the punch of the kick is. So yep, that's why I always tell people when I see there's square kicks, I'm like, shame. It's not how you get the punch. If you look at, like, honestly download people's songs that seem like they have really punchy kicks and just look at them. The only person that I've seen like have square kicks that works, honestly, is Social Good, but that's because he bakes it in some way that makes no sense, and it works. Those things are sausages, but they fit so well with his music. All this also goes out the window if you want something stylistic. Other thing with kick, the sub, cutting the tails. With this one, for example. You don't really want a sustained sub on a kick. Your sub is going to come from your sub of your bass. So the shorter you can make this while still having sub, but not a sustained sub, the better. If you have like a track with a bass line that's like just right here, then the kick can go like right here. But if you have like a rolling bass, that's going to be right in here. Cutting this back to like right there and then side chaining it up in, you're going to get way more sub from your bass than you're going to get from your kick. Because a lot of times kicks are atonal. How much of a high end? Honestly, like, it kind of depends on the song, you know? You can put too much in. You want just enough to cut through, but you don't want so much that it sounds funky and it's taken away from your clap. Because if you have like a bunch of high end on your kick, then you have a hi-hat, and then you have a clap. That's a lot of high end, and it doesn't make for a very dynamic mix. So that's kind of how you want to decide on that. But you still want to cut through. But yeah, cutting kicks to the end, like with this one, I'd probably cut it right here. And you can see on Vision, goes down right about the sub's at, and then it stops. So my sub would be right about here, and it would just start. If it's too long, then like this is even quiet. And it's just like your bass isn't going to hit as hard, and it's just long, and it drags on, and it starts to get tonal at a certain point. So then when you do different notes, sometimes your note's going to be higher, and then the kick's going to be low, and sometimes your note's going to be lower, and your kick's going to be high, and it just gets like funky. So it's best just like cut kicks to the point where you start to lose sub, and then just back it off a little bit. And if your kick's super long and you can't do that, then just get a new kick sub sample. Yeah. And with kicks also, I wanted to show, I see a lot of people compressing kicks. Well, kicks are atonal. So that means there's a constant pitch change. So you don't need to compress a kick to change different areas of the kick. You can just EQ it. Like I'll show this kick, for example. So we got like a little dip right there. So we want that higher. Why is that not changing? My EQ's not on. No? It's not on. There we go. We can find that spot in the kick and turn it up this way. If I want more sub, instead of like compressing it in some way and like getting rid of the transient, you can just turn the sub up. And if you like, I know a lot of people will compress their kicks to get more transient. They use like a slower attack to let it through and that sort of thing. You can just turn it up. And now we have more transient. It's one of those things where like compressing kicks can almost cause more issues than just EQing it. Because now that sounds like a compressed kick. And some people want like tighter punchier kicks, so you can just shorten the volume. Yeah, 100%. Like these are so synthetic and like they're so perfect that there's really no point in compressing kicks. There is some, like you can do it for like stylistic. You can do like the compressors that add color to things. There's like these types of plugins, like Kick Tweak, that will do some compression on them, like do certain things. But that's adding more color to the kick. Like compressing a kick to fix it for things is kind of, there's not really much point when you can just EQ it and have a lot more control over exactly what's happening. Yeah. Kick type preset in Corpus. Check that out. What are you doing? Put that on the wrong thing. I mean, it's hard to say because it's like really screwing with this kick. Might depend on the kick, but like for this one, definitely no, because it's really messing with it. But yeah, that's kicks. Look for a good sub in your kick. Sub in the kick is almost the sub in the punch. This area. That's the punch. Look for a good that in samples. You can add the top end with other things. You can't do much with this. This just has to be good. The envelope is too slow and it like sits in the punchy area too long, then it's no longer punchy and it turns into a sustain. Or if it like blows past it, then it's just, there's no punch and it's just sub. So yeah, just finding a good kick sample that has a good punch and a good sub, and then you can deal with the high end later with other things. And sustained sub. These ones like this that swoop way down and then go way low. You can fix that with like an EQ, but you need a pretty sustained sub because you can see there's not that many oscillations that are going on here. There's like 7. So if we start reducing these like way down, we have no sub anymore. Even though they're just so quiet. Yeah, any questions about subs and subs, kicks? It's really sample selection, just finding a good kick sample, and then honestly I use the same kick sample in most of my things. Because once you find a good one, it's like a treasure. Also techno, kick sample, all the thing I just said goes out the window too, because techno's weird. They like to break rules. Thoughts on generating synths, kick generating synths? I used to do that. There's so many kick samples out there, it's like, is it really worth it anymore? Can I make a better kick than what I can just find? It's just like mostly a time thing for me. I mean, if you like making and synthesizing kicks, definitely go for it if that's your thing. But it just takes so long, and like the end result is usually like, okay, I'd rather just like find a good kick. There's so many out there. How do you route your kick and sub straight to the master? I route my sub. Typically it goes in a group with my top bass, and that goes to my sidechain, and then that goes to the master, and then my kick will usually go to a group that has the kick and the clap together, so I can clip those two together, and then that goes to the master. But that's mostly like for house, just because the kick and the clap are always layered. Kick is not in drum group. Kick is in just its own MIDI thing, by the way. For sure. Anything else about kicks? Y'all want to know? Issues with kicks? No, I usually have my kick will be... No, I don't have my kick in my drum group. Kick and sub are not the same level. Usually my kick will be... I guess I can just pull up a song that I have. Hold, please. This is kind of where I'll keep my sub. Just have it go down and then right about there. I don't know, I honestly look at span more when I'm looking for like my kicks. And I like it to sit around like the -27, -30 for house. So then I'll have my sub, I'll turn it up to that point. Usually that's where it will sit pretty good. If you have 2+ kicks, would you route both kicks into a kick bus? Yeah, like they'll be in the group together and then clipped together, or if it's like the punchy area, then I'll compress them together. But I don't usually layer kicks too much unless it's just like a top kick, like just the clickiness in the top. Wait, you don't have your kick in a drum group? No, just I keep it separate because I want, like my kick and my clap will be together, and then the top cymbals will have different processing on it. And I want to like glue all that together, and then just through like levels and tone shaping, whatever, I'll get it to kind of sit with my kick. Yeah, my kick is like, I don't know, it's just so, it just comes in hot, it's loud, it's the loudest thing. It will just mess with all the other processing of things if it's in a group with stuff that isn't just the clap. Yeah, so like if you have clipping or limiting on your drum bus, your kick is going past that. On my kicks, I will have just a clipper. And it's just taking care of any transient that's there. And I don't clip any of the sub. Then that will go to my master. That makes sense. Bye, Thicky. Yeah, because like you can see with this, like the transient of my kick and the sub of the kick are pretty much even. That's kind of what I shoot for. I like to get my transient down just right about there. I don't want to like lose this thing, but like right about there with the rest of the kick. And then when the clap comes in, it just sits, because the top of the kick's filtered out, so it just sits in that little space right there. And I leave enough space in my kick. It can get masked by the clap, so it can clip a little bit there, but I leave enough space that the clap just kind of sits right on top of the kick. Clap and kick are being clipped together. So kick, I'll just show you. Like if I were to do this, Usually like this kick would be in its own group, and if there was another layer, it'd be right there, and then these two would be in a group, and then there would be a K clip on there. Whoa, not that. Actually, I'm gonna put the kick on that one. And then be clipped together like that. That's just for headroom mixing stuff. And usually on my kicks, I will take an auto filter. On this group, I put it on the group so if I move the kick around, I don't have to mess with it. And I'll find where like it starts to lose punch. Right about there, and then I will do like this. Not that. Because you don't really tell the top's gone, but now there's more headroom too. Yeah, that's how I process the kicks. And then here I'd like add a little top kick, and sometimes on here if I do that, then I'll add a clipper on here to clip those two together or compress them together. And that'd be it. I think that's about done. Any other questions about kicks before we wrap it up? Appreciate y'all hanging out. It's like a 2.5 hour stream, so it's a good one. Awesome. Yeah, you can always DM me, Discord, if you have any other questions. Always down to be a big old nerd and talk about this stuff. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate y'all being here. Go stream all of everything released by Hotkey, Shroomi's new song, Brio's new song. Appreciate y'all. Bye.